All right, guys. All right, it is 6 o'clock. It is Monday, December 2nd, 2024. We'll call our meeting to order and start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Next, we'll have the roll call.
Simonson?
Yes.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Colister?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Alinger? Bennett? Yes.
All right, item 4 is the approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. If we have no discussion, take the roll.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Colister?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Bennett? Yes. Simonson?
Yes.
All right, item 5 is public participation. Anybody in the audience? Anybody on Zoom? We'll move on. Item 6 is presentations. Do we have anybody want to make a presentation? Okay, moving on. Item 7 is a public hearing. It's a public hearing regarding the zoning ordinance amendment for zero lot lines. So go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight's a public hearing regarding zoning ordinance amendment for 0 lot lines. The ordinance is attached in your council packet, and this is passed through planning and zoning for recommendation at this point, and this is really kind of exclusive to allowing for duplex in a residential 1 code. We did so previously by variance, and according to Lynch Dallas, our city attorney, it's not really the way we should be doing it. So while they're being built right now, it's appropriate to get this right so that this is really kind of cleaned up in the future. And we don't have to approve these by variances later. So it simply adjusts a 0 lot line in our ordinance and allows this to occur without getting further involved in the future. I haven't received any comments from any publication or from planning and zoning. I think everyone understands that this is just simple language cleanup.
Motion to close the public hearing.
We have a
Second.
we have a motion by Colister, seconded by Lyon. If there's no discussion, take the roll.
Lyon?
Yes.
Colister?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Bennett? Yes. Simonson?
Yes.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item 8 is our consent agenda, consisting of the minutes from the November 18th regular meeting. Our bills payable through December 2nd, 2024 in the amount of $1,426,691.66. Renewal of a Class C alcohol license filed by City Limits Restaurant and an appointment of Sara Davenport to the Civil Service Commission.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. If there's no discussion, take the roll.
Colister?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Bennett? Yes. Simonson?
Yes.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Okay, item 9 is consideration of federal aviation administration funding in the future Maquoketa Airport projects. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and I hope you all have had a chance to read this novel and consider it, because I think it's a pretty heavyweight decision for the city for the next 20 years. And so I prepared this narrative after a good airport commission meeting where we talked about this in blunt terms and in honest terms about what is the value of the airport, what amount of landings do we have, how does it benefit us? And in small ways it does benefit us, but I've really kind of laid it out for you here, explaining that there are 20-year clawbacks every time we get into one of these things. And the best thing that this city council and this city has going for it right now regarding our airport is that the pavement conditions are actually so good out there, except for those 2 taxiways that approach the runway that really do need addressed. But the question is really, do you really welcome more FAA funding into it because of the clawback? What happens? You can't not run an airport until you exhaust the clawback technically. And so that's why we have to do this runway extension now, this summer anyway, because the FAA has spent 10 to 15 years investing with the city to complete that extension and that reconstruction of that 500 feet. This isn't an uncommon problem for smaller airports. The FAA even adjusted their 90% funding to 95% funding according to our consultant. So I think that there's some sort of feedback shift happening in some of these smaller communities and airports. But for right now, I'm being pressured to engage and another engineering contract and wondering we haven't finished the 500-foot project we're currently working on. The consequence of that thinking is that we're going to sacrifice FAA funds and they're going to send it to another airport, which my opinion of that is, okay, that's fine. We can see you at a later time. And so I'm here to engage in this consideration conversation about what it is we should be aiming for with our airport, because there's serious financial consequences to getting involved further. I do want you to know that the worst thing you could do, and it may not be you guys 15 or 20 years from now, is if you end up on year 19 and decided that you want a 4,500-foot runway, for example, and we start this whole timeline over. So this is a really kind of a conversation about what we can self-manage out there. The other option is to pursue state of Iowa DOT funds, and that's a little bit more competitive, but it is a possibility. That does need to show some version of planning and evidence of community support about why IDOT funds should go towards our projects here. We did rehabilitate the exterior of the corporate hangar and some of the interior currently, and I feel like we're pretty close to being set up for the next 20 years to wait out the clock and do what we need to do. And we've really kind of fought for our inches out there, and we're doing okay. Unfortunately, we're going to lose this helicopter mechanics lease, and we're trying to fill it right now, and we're advertising for it. So it's a tough fight. I think the Airport Commission is very respectful of the taxpayer needs. Technology has changed in the last 10 years. A lot of crop dusting by helicopters and drones now. A lot less planes fueling up and using that runway. So this has been a point of focus for city staff and the Airport Commission. And before we get involved in an unrelated runway extension item, I just want to know whether or not this is something we really should be doing. And this is entirely the council's discussion.
When does the 20-year clock start for after the runway extension?
Yeah, the words I have used are about 21, 22 years, going back to last year when we were talking about this contract. I assume that it's after completion of the runway, or some sort of FAA funds has been dispersed to the city, which is trailing the construction usually.
And we're expecting that to take place
This summer.
this summer,
Yep.
this coming summer.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can get these taxiways done basically in that same time frame, so that
I think we could. Yeah.
kind of get that done, and then basically everything's done, and then when the clock starts, we're good?
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Taxiways with FAA funds or without?
Well, I mean, why not with FAA funds if the clock hasn't started yet?
Right.
Because of would there be engineering involved in those taxis?
There would be, yep.
We start over like McClure on that, and
Right.
that's what, another year for them to figure out how to engineer a taxiway that we can just roll over with pavement?
Well, tell them we're on a time.
I don't care.
I'm just saying, even if
I
it just
agree
adds
with what
1
you're
year to the clock, it'd be better to get it done with FAA funds than just be so worried about getting the clock started.
Right.
That we, you know.
I guess my only concern would be then you get into the engineering contract and federalized funds and qualified contractors and, 500 feet of runway extension on the construction contract, all in is about $1.7 million. 170,000 of that being local funds-ish, but,
Can the same contractor do the taxiways while they're doing
they
the
have
runway?
to engineer it. They have to get
Same,
it.
yeah.
So, we can self-manage and we can call it River City Paving and they'll probably end up at 50 or 75,000 self-managed. It's not an improper thought what you're thinking. I just want to make sure you know what you're getting
Why
into.
doesn't that have to be engineered?
Because we self-manage it.
Or just self-managed?
Yep.
So-
Yeah,
so
because
we
you're
can
not
just-
taking the
We can
funds.
just mill and fill out there whenever we want.
Right.
Nice. Whatever.
Like, how bad are the taxiways? Are they
Well,
bad?
on
Or, I mean, are they?
On a scale of 100, one of them's a 9 and the other's a 10.
I mean, I'd like.
It needs done.
I don't know. I think we can self-manage it. I don't want to even go with the FFA anymore because there's just too much red tape and it takes too much time. And then there could be something that we miss, and then we may be on the hook for however long. I'm just being honest. This has been something that's been frustrating me for. Why do we spend so much money on the airport? There's no value there. And with technology changing, you used to be able to do the corporate thing, but they're going to Dubuque or they're going to Moline. They get direct flights from Chicago or wherever they're coming from. They skip right over Maquoketa. I mean, I don't think there's any money to be had there to recoup our money. So I'd like to stay away from the FFA stuff and just self-manage it.
Well, the FFA doesn't really do it, but the FAA does.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
You can get FFA out there to do the
There's
milling
FFA
thing.
around there, though.
We can let them farm the ground.
They might want some.
Probably end up selling it back to them anyway in 20 years.
I agree. I would prefer to self. Is the commission like, I can't imagine that they're looking at this and they're very happy about it.
It was a better conversation than you would think, because they realize the taxpayer and the city council needs to have the freedom and flexibility to walk away at some point if it's not feasible. And right now, we have an airport that really is an agriculture service airport. It's crop dusting, occasional gas fill-ups, Oshkosh weekend for Wisconsin, large amount of air traffic filling up and moving north to Oshkosh. After that, there's not much that happens. UD does their touch and goes, and we have a very, very, very light amount of traffic. Completely different story when Chuck Clayton was running that private charter service, 10, 20 years ago. But that's just not what we have right now.
Doesn't UD want to buy it?
Well, I had some discussions with UD, and they were very good discussions until the business office becomes involved.
I mean, do you really need a motion, or are you just seeking, what do you want?
No motion. I just want to kind of clarify, I have some consensus here to work with John and self-manage those taxiways and just hang on out there.
I'm in favor of that.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
I agree.
Anybody opposed to this
I'm not
idea?
gonna be around here in 20 years, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't want that hanging over the city's head for another 20 years.
It's stuck in my craw for the last 10 years, and I can't believe we're just starting another 20, so I refuse to spend $1 out there. It's ridiculous.
How much does the city lose? I mean, we're not gaining anything having that airport, so how much do we actually lose, minus outside of repairs, per year?
By hosting it and having it here. There's a lot of grants in and grants money going out, but if you were to remove it, it might be 20 to 40,000 as an airport fund. You're out every year. Someone would argue, though, someone comes here to see the caves and gets the car and dines here, and there's business opportunities. So there's a lot of analytics behind the aviation economic benefits. So you might look at that 20 or 40 loss, but you'd be countered with, take a look at some of these other things that you get.
I was expecting it to be more is all, so.
Okay, did you get what you were looking for?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to item 10. And that is ordinance 1241, amending chapter 99 sewer service charges of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa, and this is the third reading.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Colister,
second.
seconded by Lyon. Any discussion here? Take the roll.
Coolman,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes,
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes,
Lyon,
Yes.
Okay, that-
Colister.
Yes.
That passes. Item B is ordinance 1242, amending chapter 92 water rates of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa, and this too is the third reading.
So moved.
second,
Motion by Colister, seconded by Bennett. Any discussion here? Then take the roll.
Bennett,
yes,
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
yes,
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Coolman.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. We make it to new business. Item 11A is an ordinance amending section 165.12 and 165.26 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa, and this is the first reading. So, go ahead, Josh.
Thank you, Mayor. This follows a public hearing item regarding the zero lot lines, specifically for duplexes, and because this is really kind of language cleanup, if you're in agreement tonight and assuming this passes and we have 6 votes, we'd welcome a suspension of the rules to the third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Colister, seconded by Lyon. We have no discussion. Take the roll.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
yes,
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Bennett.
yes,
Motion to suspend the rules and move to the second and third reading.
We have a motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Lyon. If we have no discussion, take the roll.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Hollister.
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes,
Simonson.
Yes.
Motion to move to the second reading.
heard.
Second
You're
reading.
making
This is the second reading.
You're,
Oh, it is?
This is the second reading.
You voted on the motion to,
We voted
Okay.
on the motion
Okay.
to do it.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Coleman. If we have no discussion, take the roll.
Lyon,
yes.
Hollister.
yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes,
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Motion to move to the third reading.
We have a motion by Colister, seconded by Coleman, to move to third reading. If we have no discussion, take the roll.
Hollister,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Yes.
Simonson, Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
That passes. Do we have a motion to go to the third reading?
That was the third.
Oh, that was the third? I lost track of where we were. All right. Item B is resolution, committing the proceeds of sale of the rescue truck to the fire department capital improvement plan.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
second,
seconded by Bennett. Any discussion here? Any background you want to give?
I mean, my only real comments here is that typically our department heads, if they're submitting items for surplus sale, the rewards fall back into the departments. It's just a greater argument when it's 150 or 200 we're talking about. So some extra assurance requested in this particular commitment, and that's why it's before you tonight.
Okay. Go ahead and take the roll.
Coleman,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Hollister.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item C is a resolution awarding a bid for materials. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item, we had received no bid 2 meetings ago, so we rebid it, and I think it was just minor error for the contractors here, but we reached out to Manats and Wendling and asked for their material supplies, and this is a typical routine item and commits them to this pricing for the following year. This is a very simple authorization request.
Is it comparable last year, John?
Yes, and I did ask Preston Ready Mix to put in a bid. They did not.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Colister, seconded by seconded by Rickrell. And if we have no discussion, take the roll.
Bennett,
yes,
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Hollister,
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
That passes. Item D is a resolution adopting the Maquoketa Municipal Airport Capital Improvement Plan.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. You know, similar to our conversation we had in the consideration item, this is gonna end up being a routine item for you to consider and approve, and it effectively is just bumping these items in the background up another year. And you have to do this every single year. You're an FAA-backed airport currently, and this will be before you every year. It just kind of gets pushed down the road, so. Nothing suspicious out of this. It does not commit you to the particular projects attached. It's just reporting to the FAA what you're planning to do. And so this exact question was asked to our consultant at the Airport Commission about what to do about this CIP. That was their words to us, that you just keep bumping it out a year. So that's what I have.
Okay,
So moved.
motion by Colister,
second,
seconded by Bennett. Any discussion on this item? Take the roll.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Hollister,
Yes.
Coleman,
Yes.
Bennett.
yes,
Okay, that passes. Item E is a resolution directing the Planning and Zoning Commission to study and make recommendations regarding vacation of public grounds at Little Bear Park.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and we were so close to closing on this. And a full abstract by our attorney firm revealed a public use commitment, and for that, we have to go back to Planning and Zoning Commission to vacate the public grounds and public use at that site. And so I have argued and argued that unless you're completely unaware of the happenings around town, everyone knows that this transaction and consolidation is happening. Still yet, we need to have a planning and zoning referral come back to us so that we can vacate the public grounds use. So all in all, we expect this closing to be delayed maybe another month and a half.
Okay,
so moved,
okay. We have a motion by Bennett,
Second.
seconded by Colister. Do we have any discussion here? Then take the roll.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Colister?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Simonson?
Yes.
Well, let me just, what if they say no?
I know I've had this conversation with Brad before, and I know in other cities where the P and Z has disagreed on something, the council has supermajority over the P and Z. And at that time, if there's that problem, I suspect we may have to look at that option.
Okay. Item F is a resolution approving a bid in the amount of $1,310,966.97 to Jim Schrader Construction Incorporated for the Destination Iowa Prairie Creek Project. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. This particular item was bid out, and this is the remainder of the Prairie Creek project. So everything outside of the water quality sponsor project that we're talking about here. Trails, 2 pedestrian bridges, that north side entrance park, the disc golf course, everything else wrapped up into one general contract. And we had bids ranging from $1,247,666 to $1.652 million. Our lowest bid presented a bid irregularity, and in this instance, we're choosing not to waive it and also choose the next best option, the second placed option, because it is a good choice for the taxpayer to do this work. After some consultation with the county attorney and city attorney, we believe this is the best move, and we recommend your approval tonight.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. Do we have any discussion here? Take the roll.
Lyon?
Yes.
Colister?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Simonson?
Yes.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item 9 is a discussion and possible motion authorizing the downtown incentives grant reimbursement payment to Chetton in the amount of $14,850. Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. Any discussion here? Then take the roll.
Colister?
Yes.
Coleman?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Simonson?
Yes.
Rickrell?
Yes.
Lyon?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. We make it to item 12, reports and communications. Any council member have anything to add tonight? City manager?
Nothing of great importance to add, but this time of year is typically, when we're gonna do utility billing notice to talk about this, but this time of year is when some of our sidewalk and snow abatements start. So if your constituents start voicing complaints about city procedure, we do publish notice, we publish it online, and we publish it on our Facebook, and we publish it on our utility billing. There is a requirement to maintain sidewalks and remove snow, and the city council and the city have had extra liabilities attached to them by some code changes for sidewalk responsibility, and that's why we do it. In case someone gets hurt, we're trying to prevent that. So just wanted to make clear to you that we're entering that season, and we'll do the best we can to keep the public informed of what's happening there.
Okay. Anybody else? If not, I'd take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Coolman, seconded by Bennett. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? We're adjourned.
Opposed.